Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back in today with another fantasy football video. In today's video, I got the Week 9 quarterback start or sit decisions. I go through every single matchup from Thursday night all the way till Monday night and tell you which quarterbacks to start and which quarterbacks to sit. So before I get in the video, I'd like to give you guys a word from my sponsor, OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is the brand new start sit format and my favorite way to play daily fantasy football. Now, they have gotten rid of their what it was the single entry GPP. You can only enter one time into these contests. Now you can enter up to 10 times to obviously boost your odds to win. Now, you might be wondering, why is this going to be worth it for me? Because this is a progressive bonus type of deal. And what the progressive bonus means is every single week, when no one hits the 12-0 record, it keeps adding more and more money. In this $22 one, it is, if you go 12-0, you get the beautiful stars to align. You get $6,740. Obviously, if you go up to the higher paid ones, the progressive bonus is over $27,000. If you're in the top 10% of the entries, you get 9 times the buy-in. So that's just amazing right there. And it's pretty easy to do. You got to make 12 picks plus 3 alternate picks. And I'll show you pretty much how you make these picks. Do you think Aaron Rodgers, for example, will do better than Russell Wilson? Aaron Rodgers playing the LA Chargers, Russell Wilson playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All you got to do is select one of those players, and then you do that 11 more times. There are so many matchups on the screen that you can even do any of these as long as you do 12 of them plus the 3 alternate picks. And then, like I said, if you hit that beautiful 12-0, you get that amazing progressive bonus. So make sure you guys check out OverlayDFS.com. Link down below in the description is a great time. Come join me. We're going to have some fun this week on Overlay DFS. And we are back. Make sure to check out OverlayDFS.com. Link down below in the description. Make sure to come play with me. They are a great sponsor, great friends of mine, and I would really appreciate if you guys came and played on the website. Week 9 quarterback start or sits. Let's get right into the video. At the first game, here's the Thursday night football game. The 49ers at the Arizona Cardinals. I'm obviously going to be starting up Jimmy G spot, Jimmy GQ in this matchup because the Cardinals defense is fucking terrible. But you have to temper your expectations because this may be a run-heavy affair. They may be just handing the ball to Tevin Coleman about 9,000 times. So Jimmy G's a start, but it's in a more deeper type of league situation. If you're in a 10-team league, you should not be starting Jimmy Garoppolo. I am going to be sitting Kyler Murray in this matchup. The 49ers defense is far too strong for me to warrant starting the 5'6" quarterback, Kyler Murray. Obviously, he can run, he can pass. That's his game, but it doesn't fucking matter because the 49ers defense is so good that they're going to stop Kyler Murray in his tracks. Next game here, we got the Texans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to be starting up Deshaun Watson and Gardner Minshew in this heavyweight bout. Deshaun Watson should be in for a huge game. Obviously, last week he got his eye poked, but it didn't matter because his eye was poked. He had one fucking eye closed, threw a touchdown to Darren Fells to fuck my fantasy team right in the ass, but that is besides the thing. Deshaun Watson should be good in for a good game. He can run, he can pass, he can do all that. I think he'll be in for a pretty good matchup this week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Gardner Minshew played great against the Jets and the ghosts of the New York Football Jets last week. Gardner Minshew was not seeing any ghosts because he played great. I think this week against the Houston Texans, it may be a higher scoring type of matchup. I think that Gardner Minshew will be able to flourish in this type of a game, especially against a Houston's defense that's allowing a decent amount of points to the quarterback position. Next game here is the Bears at the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm going to be starting up Mitchell, and I'm by sitting, I mean sitting. I'm sitting both of these sorry-ass quarterbacks. Kissing Titties Trubisky is a sorry quarterback. Can't throw to the left side of the field, can't throw to the right side of the field, can't throw it to you if you're 3 feet in front of him. The only thing you do is throw it out of bounds or 100 yards over the wide receiver because he is fucking terrible. Do not start Mitch Trubisky in this game. Carson Wentz is facing a tough Bears defense. Regardless of how the Bears defense has looked the last couple of weeks, I still think they're a tough matchup. And for Carson Wentz, who's not been looking all that great, obviously last week against the Bills, he performed pretty well, but this is a different breed of a defense. This is the Bears, and I do not trust Carson Wentz in this matchup. Next game here, we got the Vikings at the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to be starting up Kirk Cousins in this game. You like that? Kirk Cousins is going to go absolutely. I hope I didn't fucking break your ears right there, but Kirk Cousins is going to be in for a big matchup this week. Obviously, last week he shit the bed and disappointed you against the Redskins, but this week against the Chiefs, I think he has a bounce back type of game. I think this is a potential going back to the last couple of weeks where he's been scoring 20 plus points every single game. I think that's this kind of game. I envision that for Mr. Kirk Cousins. We saw Aaron Rodgers put up a great game against the Chiefs defense last week. I'm going to be sitting down Matt Moore / Pat Mahomes. I'm not sure who's going to get the go. Likely, in my opinion, it would be Matt Moore. I would not be starting them this week against a Vikings defense that looks pretty solid. All right, next game here is the Colts at the Steelers. Now, I'm going to be starting up Jacoby Brissett, Jacoby Moneybags in this game. Jacoby Brissett has been playing pretty solid the last couple of weeks. Obviously, a few weeks ago against Kansas City when everyone was on Jacoby Brissett. When Jacoby Brissett was the chalk guy to stream, he shit the bed because of the defense that they were playing. Obviously, the Kansas City team just played pretty well, and what they decided to do was just run the ball. This game against the Steelers, I think they're going to be throwing the ball a lot more, especially with T.Y. Hilton being back into the lineup the last couple of games. I think that Jacoby Brissett will be able to perform this week against the Steelers defense. I'm going to be sitting down Mason Rudolph because Mason Rudolph looked terrible against the Dolphins. How do you think he's going to look playing up against a actually competent defense in the Colts? He's going to look terrible. Sit him down on your bench. Let him ride the pine in this Sunday matchup. Next game here, we got the Jets at the Miami Dolphins, and you could be starting up the Ghostbuster himself, Sam Darnold, because Sam Darnold, this is just a juicy matchup. This is too juicy of a matchup to let him ride the pine. The next couple of weeks are very, very, very soft matchups for Mr. Sammy Mono in this game, especially. The Dolphins defense has looked terrible. Not Sam Rosen, whatever the fuck his name is. Mason Rudolph, even though I said he played terrible, still put up an okay fantasy game. I think Sam Darnold will put up a lot better of a fantasy game, especially with a guy like Chris Herndon likely returning in this matchup. You're going to be sitting down Ryan Fitzpatrick because I know you may need a bit of magic in your fantasy football team and your fantasy football lineup, but that is not this week. The Jets defense looks okay, and I just don't trust Ryan Fitzpatrick because at any minute, the Dolphins might actually start winning with Fitzpatrick, and then coach will realize, holy shit, we're going to win. Let me throw in Rosen because Rosen's fucking terrible, and I think that is entirely possible, and that's entirely in the cards and the books for this game. Next matchup here is the Washington Redskins against the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to be starting up Josh Allen in this game. Josh Allen has been playing pretty great the last couple of games. Obviously, he's had two pretty good matchups in a row and didn't really get that 30-point game that you potentially saw in the future from him. You looked in that crystal ball and you saw, hey, maybe Josh Allen could score 30 points. But this game against the Redskins defense. Kirk Cousins shit the bed last week against them, but the rest of the season, every single quarterback has been able to perform against the Redskins. Josh Allen, knock one time if you're with me, is going to destroy, build, destroy the Redskins defense. I'm going to be saying down the Redskins quarterback. Who is the Redskins quarterback, you may ask, Nick? Nick, who's the Redskins quarterback? You fucking idiot. You don't even know who it is. It's either Case Keenum, it's either Dwayne Haskins, the trash can, or it's Colt McCoy. Okay? You're not going to want to start any of those guys. I'd feel most confident starting Case Keenum, but my confidence level would be at about a 1 out of 1,000. I would not feel comfortable starting any of them, but like I said, Case Keenum is probably the best bet for the Redskins if they want to somehow, for some reason, win this game. Next game here, we got the Titans at the Carolina Panthers. Now, I'm sitting down both quarterbacks in this matchup, or all three technically, because I'm not even sure who's starting for the Panthers. If it's Cam Newton looked terrible. Then he got hurt. He'll probably look terrible again. So I'm sitting him down. Kyle Allen actually has looked good, but they're also playing a tough Titans defense, so I just sit both of them. Ryan Tannehill, on the other hand, actually looked pretty good last week, throwing 2 touchdowns, but his stat line was terrible. He had like 75 yards and 2 touchdowns and then got a bunch of yards at the end of the game. That's fucking terrible. That is a Ryan Tannehill stat line right there. Just do not play him this week against the Panthers. I don't want to be relying on Mr. Ryan T of the Tennessee Titans. Next game here is the Lions at the Oakland Raiders, and I'm starting up both quarterbacks in this matchup. Matthew Stafford, the gunslinger, is going to eviscerate the Raiders defense. The Raiders defense has been terrible against the quarterback unless your name is Mitchell Trubisky. I think that Matt Stafford will be in for a pretty good game this week. Obviously, with Kerryon Johnson being out, it seems like they're relying a lot more on the passing game. Kenny Golladay, Marvin Jones, TJ Hawkins, Danny Amendola. He's got a lot of options on the team, and he's heaving the ball to all of them deep down the field. I like Matt Stafford in this game. Matty snapback all the way to potentially be a top 3 quarterback this week. Derek Carr for the Raiders is also a start for me. The Lions defense has not been all that good against the quarterback position, and last week we saw Derek Carr play a phenomenal game. I think Derek Carr is in for another pretty great game this week against the Lions. Next game here is the Buccaneers at the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to be starting up famous Jameis Winston for the Buccaneers. Obviously, Jameis Winston has not been performing all that well in real life, but he's still putting up decent fantasy numbers. So obviously, I think he'll be able to be a top 14-ish quarterback in this game, which would warrant him to be a start. Obviously, he is the king of throwing interceptions, so I like the Seattle defense against it, but he's still going to throw enough yards and potentially throw 2 touchdowns to be able to be worthy of a start in this game. Russell Wilson obviously gets it done with his legs and through the air and has been an obvious start every single week. He is an MVP candidate in real football and probably in fantasy as well. He was a guy you drafted late and has been performing like a great quarterback, an elite quarterback. I love Russell Wilson this week against a Buccaneers defense that looks to be probably fucking terrible. Next game here is the Packers at the LA Superchargers. I'm going to be starting up Aaron Rodgers in this game. Aaron Rodgers has hit that time of the year where Aaron Rodgers just absolutely skull fucks every single defense in front of him. The last 2 games, he's been absolutely eviscerating. Against the Raiders, he played great. Against the Chiefs, he played great. This game against the Chargers defense that is absolutely depleted and hurt, he will play a huge game this week against the Chargers and put up a lot of points, a potential top 5 week for Mr. Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to be seeing down Phillip Rivers in this game as well as his 13,000 kids because Phillip Rivers has not been performing all that well the last couple weeks. The Chargers offense has not been performing all that well, so I definitely let Phillip Rivers ride the pine. Next game here is the Browns at the Denver Broncos. I'm going to be starting up Baker Mayfield, but that's if you are feeling dangerous, all right? You're going to be having to feel very fucking dangerous to start Baker Mayfield because Baker Mayfield has not performed in any game. But if there was one week where the stars align like on overlaydfs.com and you hit that beautiful 12-0, you're going to want to do it this week against the Broncos. Baker Mayfield may be in for a humongous matchup. If you have the cojones, the big balls to start Baker Mayfield, go ahead and fire him up this week. I'm going to be seeing down the Denver quarterback. Who? Nick, you fucking idiot. How do you not know who the quarterback is? Maybe it's Drew Lock. Maybe it's that other guy. Who gives a fuck? You're sitting both of them in this game. Now onto the Sunday Night Football matchup between the New England Patriots and the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to be starting up Mr. TB12, Tom Brady, in this game. Tom Brady is obviously not an elite fantasy quarterback because he just throws like 2 touchdowns every game or 1 touchdown and like 300 yards, but that's obviously servable in fantasy football. And this week against the Ravens, I think it'll be a more high-scoring matchup, so I think Tom Brady's going to have to throw the ball a lot more. Lamar Jackson on the other side of the ball, I think, is obviously a start as well because he can get it done both through the air and with his legs. I think that Lamar Jackson will be in for a pretty good game this week against even the tougher defense in the league, or the most tough defense in the league, the New England Patriots. And my final game here, the final game here is the Monday Night Football matchup between the Cowboys and the Giants. I'm going to be starting up Mr. Dicky Dak Prescott in this game. Dak Prescott has been performing the last couple of weeks pretty well, so I like Dak in this game. Obviously against the Jets, he kind of shit the bed, but the last couple of weeks he's been performing pretty well. I think that he'll be in for a good game this week against a Giants defense that is not all that good. And then Daniel Jones, Danny fucking Dimes, whatever you want to call him. This is a good matchup for him against the Cowboys. Obviously, he was the #1 quarterback in fantasy last week, so there's potential for him to do it again this week against a Cowboys defense. If you guys ended up enjoying this video, make sure to click that subscribe button down below. Thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you ended up enjoying, like I said, make sure to click that subscribe button. If you ended up really enjoying, please click that like button. Leave a comment down below with any questions or concerns you guys have. I enjoy any type of criticism you have. You can tell me to go fuck myself, and it wouldn't really affect me. I'll just fucking read it and be like, well, thank you very much, Mr. Commenter. I hope that you guys really enjoyed. Like I said, make sure to check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. Have a great rest of your goddamn day. I love each and every single one of you guys so much. Goodbye.